Thanks, Gwen, and thank you all for coming. Watching Gwen's presentation on her first slide, there was a point where she said, strong but splashy, and I thought, that's a good description for what I'm about to talk to you about with our casino project. So Western Copper and Gold has one project, the casino project, located up in the Yukon. We've been developing it for about a decade. For those of you that haven't been to the Yukon, that's what this part of the Yukon looks like. Yukon is pretty big. The key takeaway there is it's a great place to build a mine. I will be making forward-looking statements, so please review this. Get a few things out of the way here. We're one of the few, I think there's one other company here that's listed on both the TSX and the NYC American. Why is that important as an investor? It means we actually have fairly good trading. We trade a fair bit of shares every day, and also back to one of Gwen's thesis about the generalist investors. The first generalist investors that come in are in the US. They like it when we go down there. We do almost all of our discretionary marketing in the US. They can buy our shares because we're listed on the NYC American. Market cap around 100 million. Where are the shares? Management and board has about 8%. 7 of that 8% is with our chairman, Dale Corman. A group of high net worth individuals has about half the outstanding shares, and then the rest are floating. We do have a royalty. Cisco has the royalty in the project. This is a royalty that we actually sold a few years ago to Orion, and then Cisco bought that as part of a large royalty package that they bought about a year ago or 2 years ago for about $1 billion. So just to put you into the picture here, as Gwen was saying, this is a large project. Combined, you're looking at 18 million ounces of gold and 10 billion pounds of copper. And this is before our drill results from this summer have been incorporated. I'd like to sort of talk a little bit about the market. I'm going to sort of work backwards to start with the gold fundamentals. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about that this last 2 days, flight to safety, scarcity of significant big gold discoveries, but also the copper market. You know, the copper market right now is being dominated by the China-US trade dispute. That's driven down the price of copper. But behind that, the fundamentals of the copper market are incredibly strong. There just hasn't been significant new build-out of copper mines in the last decade because the price has been low. Once we see, and admittedly that's probably a year away, some relief on that trade war, you're going to see copper pop up significantly. And last is the M&A. We're a big project. You know, this is a project that we can't do by ourselves. We've always said that. We need somebody to sort of help us. But you're starting to see the M&A pick up. Obviously, we've seen the big gold mergers, but also in our neck of the woods up in Western Canada, in the northern part, we had Newcrest come in and buy Red Chris. And also we've seen some investment actually by Newmont into some of the Golden Triangle deposits up there as well. These next two slides are my favorite two slides because they really talk about what's special about the casino project. First of all is to look at copper. And what this is showing is this is TSX and TSX Venture controlled junior mining development projects, copper projects that are controlled by a junior mining company. And what this shows, that's the entire space. It's a different space than the gold space. There's not a lot of copper developers out there. Why? Copper deposits, they tend to be bigger, but they're few and far between. So one of the reasons, you know, that I like, and I'm a big shareholder of Western, is that you have a great copper deposit. The other one is gold, big gold. We went through and we said, what is the top 10, again, development gold projects based on overall ounces listed on the TSX and TSX Venture. That's the top 10 there. And if you look at those projects and you say, okay, let's get rid of the ones in countries that nobody wants to be in. Let's get rid of the ones that aren't economic at $1,500 gold. If you can't make money at $1,500 gold, you really aren't really a project. You're just an interesting deposit. And I think what you would agree is there's only a few that are left, and we're one of the key ones on that list. So this is the actual deposit. This is a cross section. if we're looking at, there's two parts. The surface of the deposit is depleted in copper and enriched in gold. That's 157 million tons of 0.3 gram per ton gold. That gets mined off first and put onto a gold heap leach and provides that early revenue. Beneath that is where the real value is. And in the light orange, that's the first 4 years. That is 172 million tons at 0.7% copper equivalent, so fairly good grade. And then when you look at the whole porphyry, you're looking at close to 1 billion tons at 0.5% copper equivalent. Now, we started drilling this year. I haven't released any drill results, but watching people drill, you get jealous and they get to release drill results. So I'd like to remind people what sort of drill results that you need to get in order to get a large project like this. And you can see that's a historical drill result shown there, the 93-185, and that's 700 meters of 1% copper equivalent. That's the sort of drill result that you need to get. You need to get lots of those in order to end up with 1 billion tons of 0.5% copper equivalent. A little bit of the history. We've been developing this for about a decade. This has got a full feasibility study. It's got a couple of years of permitting. We've done a lot of de-risking on this. And then what we've done over the past years, we've done a couple sort of key things. And one is to do a drilling campaign, and the other is to acquire a property, the Canadian Creek property right next to us. And so start with the Canadian Creek property. This shows a claim map. For those of you that aren't familiar with the Yukon where we are, we're right next to what this says is Gold Corp, but which is now Newmont Gold Corp's coffee project. And what we acquired was this project right between us and the coffee project. Why did we acquire it? If you look, what's shown there in pink is the golden soils. You can see that right next to where our pit is, and our pit is right on the edge of where those golden soils are shown, there's a whole bunch of gold, surface level gold. It's going to go onto our heap leach. We've known that it's there. We've had our eye on this for a number of years, and we're just very happy that we picked it up. Looking at the strength of the project, the strength of the project is shown here. This is a project that at spot prices today, even with the poor copper price, we're actually, as of today, a gold project more than a copper project, 26% IRR, $3 billion net present value and a payback in 2.3 years. Why are the economics that strong? It's a big project. There's two key things. One is that early high grade. During that payback period, you're actually mining 0.7. That's a very, very good grade for a copper project. The other is the strip ratio. And when we were rejigging this, we almost put in a quote by Mark Bristow, because I was actually watching him speak, and he said, you can have a large, lower grade project as long as it has almost no strip ratio. You can look it up. He said it at the Northern Miner Talk in London. That's exactly what we have here. 0.6 to 1, that's actually going to drop when we're finished this drilling. Other thing is about support. Large projects, getting large projects permitted requires a lot of work, a lot of government support, a lot of First Nation support, particularly if you're in Canada. That's for our Prime Minister. For those of you who don't recognize him, the other guy is the Premier of the Yukon. They're announcing road infrastructure package in the Yukon. One of those roads is the road to our mine. And then sort of the last couple slides here, I just want to talk about this district. If you look at this district, we've got the coffee project, we've got white gold, which is getting some great exploration, we've got ourselves. If you look at that whole area within a 50-kilometer radius circle there, you're looking at 25 million ounces of gold in resource, and still lots of exploration happening. This is an important gold district. It's going to be an important gold district going forward. We're pretty excited to have this large asset located in that district. And so to end, significant gold copper deposit located in this great new emerging district. I didn't talk too much about mine life, but again, if you're looking at this, if you're a large gold company, rather than buying a bunch of small assets that operate for 5 years, you've got a mine here that actually has all the inferred is mined as well, has a 55-year mine life. low cost, located in Canada, and advanced development project with clear path through permitting. And I have 9 seconds left, so thank you very much.